Before this video begins, we have a sponsor.
For those of you who've been on the channel for a while, you probably recognize the name Stamp Playrail Store, as I've mentioned them before in several other videos. And that's because I truly stand by what they do. From quality Thomas & Friends items ranging from Tomy to Departing Now, to great packaging and shipping, and all-around quality, trustworthy sellers. If you're in the market for good Thomas & Friends items, look no further. When you order from Stamp Playrail Store, you're not only getting a quality product, but you're getting a quality experience all in all. But oh, just you wait, cause it gets better, my friends. If you shop Stamp Playrail Store, you can use my coupon code TBJunction10 to get 10% off your first order. This is not only a good way to save some money, but also support my channel. So what are you waiting for? Click the link down below in the description of this video to get yourself some sweet Thomas & Friends merch. And thank you to Stamp Playrail Store for sponsoring the channel. What's up, members of the Peter Griffin household? It's your host of the most troublesome junction, back at again with a very special review video. I know what it is, you know what it is, we all couldn't shut the fuck up about it. It is the amazing 80th anniversary Tomy Playrail Railway Series Thomas. Now, this item, like, no matter who you are in the fandom or what you like, everyone was excited about. Like, this was easily the standout item, unlike Bachman. But this is the one thing that everyone, I think, collectively said, oh yeah, that's gonna be peak. So me being the loyal Train with Face fan I am, I ran over to eBay a couple months ago and got this thing on pre-order. And it finally came in today, and I am quite excited to open this thing. So, I think first and foremost, let's talk about the box. So down here we have this little illustration of the iconic shot that's on the cover of the Railway Series Thomas the Tank Engine book. And then we have, this is just the little booklet that it comes with. I think it's just a small character synopsis. Then of course we have the main engine on display here. This packaging is just, oh, it is so peak. Little odd that the Mattel logo is slapped right there. Like, I mean, it makes sense because they're the ones that essentially own the Thomas & Friends IP now. But, like, little odd that it's right there, not just, like, on the back somewhere or something. But, hey, I sure, whatever. And then, of course, we have that nice art of Thomas right here. And, of course, we have the Takara Tomy logo up here. On the top of the box, we have the 80th anniversary logo. Some more writing. Nice little side doodle of Thomas down there. And little doodad of Thomas right there. Going to the back of the box, we have basically how you install the batteries, because, I don't know, maybe you're just a stupid child or something. We got the dreaded crying Pac-Man up there. That boy is not happy. And then the bottom of the box, now this is really nice down here. So you do get, of course, you got Thomas, Annie, and Clarabelle picture here. This really nice render of Thomas. Is this new? I don't know if this is new or not, but I really like this art of Thomas. Maybe I can get this scanned or something like that. Like, that's really cool. And just more doodads, licensing stuff down here. Takara, Tomy, Hit, and Mattel, and yeah. But you guys don't care about the box. You guys want to see the funny Train with Face. So, let me gently open this box without ruining it. Alright, we remove the tape. We got the small piece of foam here. And we're coming in for the unboxing shot. Let me get it turned here. Oh, let's see. Oh, there he is. How's it going?
Hey, kids!
Turn him over so he can properly come out of the tunnel and... Alright, so taking him out, we do in fact get this tiny little booklet here. I think we should talk about this first. It's really quite nice. You got Thomas here, and I think it just goes over some of the illustrations of some of the other characters in the Railway series. Got Henry there. I think that's after he gets his new shape. And we got Percy. Oh, what is bro on? It's such a weird picture. I think stuff like this is just a nice little addition to an anniversary item where it's like, you know, that's cute. I think it just showcases most of Audrey's characters. I wish it was in English so I could read it. Maybe I have to learn Japanese. And then another thing in the box, it looks like we just have generic Tomy engine constructions, but I'm a man. I don't need instructions. I ain't no bitch. Oh, it has a little hang tag too. So, like I'm assuming, like in stores, this would be popping out of the box. So if, store employees want to hang this from shelves, you can. So that's pretty neat. Oh, I really like the fact, just off the rip, that he has like this really darker kind of, if you've ever seen like a sun faded Thomas, or like I've seen this with Departing Now Tomy engines, it has that kind of color to it. I don't know, it looks really nice on this right off the rip. But furthering down the line, I'm assuming this is Annie, and the other one's Clarabelle. Yeah, because the faces are forwards and backwards, because basically they're almost the fucking same, but we'll get to them when we do. All right, so I know why you're all here. We all want to see the funny train with face here. Oh, look at that face. This, this is just yes. Like, we have not seen a face like this since the original Hornby Thomas and Friends face had came out. You guys remember that really really odd one? I don't know. It's really kind of nice though to see when Rangers pay homage to the original illustrations of Thomas, and like this is just something that I expected out of so much more of the merchandise that we've currently seen. Like I'm even thinking of like the Tomica diecast line. I would have loved to have seen this face slapped onto one of those. They did other anniversary items, and even like with Mattel, what they're currently doing, I would love to see like maybe a chase variant or something of this style of Thomas. Like, it's nice that we have one, but I would have liked to have seen more of this, please. Like, or even like maybe other characters in this line, but we know that this is probably just going to be a nice one-off thing that's going to come and go. Get this while you can, because it's probably going to go up in price. But looking at that face, if you compare it to the illustration, like, come on now. That taking that illustration and making it 3D, but still look like it's in the two, like, drawn, hand-drawn style, that is just so peak. Like, it really captures that Railway Series hand-drawn kind of vibe. Like, this looks like it crawled right out of the book. Even on the side detail, you can kind of see, like, it has, like, little bits of, like, white, and it looks kind of like the dashes, and it's a little bit pale. That's not the reflection of the light. That is actually put onto this side printing detail, which I do believe, yeah, it is unfortunately a sticker. We'll get to more of that in a bit, but it is really nice to see that they're really going for that, like, I don't know if cell shaded would be the right word for it, but I really think it captures that hand-drawn aesthetic quite nicely. And another thing that I've noticed, as I mentioned before with the plastic being darker, the paint on the running board is actually a lot less vibrant than if I compare it to the likes of the traditional Tomy Thomas. I mean, this one has a burnt up face, he's doing blackface, but ignore that fact. But you look at these two here, this is a darker shade of red, just to, little things like that make it stand out. It really does look quite nice. The running board, this is like kind of a yellowish, grayish, like it's not like the traditional white running board, or even in this case, a dark, like a light gray running board. It does have like kind of a yellow tint to them. Again, it looks like it's been sun faded, but obviously it's not, because it's new, and that was clearly intentional to capture, again, what was going on in the original artwork. The line detailing up here is 3D. It's all painted up here, but as I mentioned, I really don't like how the side detail is a sticker. I get that capturing this sort of, hand-drawn art style would be kind of hard to do with printed detail, but I would like to bring up, case in point, the other anniversary item, which this was also giving another mention to Jack, aka Fancy Engine. This is actually from him. This is the LBSC Thomas that came out for the 70th anniversary. This has printed detail. Why couldn't you do it on this? Like, I think they could have found some kind of compromise, because I really, really hate sticker detail, because it just means that over time, if you play with this, you mess around with it, it's going to deteriorate. I mean, it does feel like a nice sticker. Like, I don't think it's gonna, give out too easily, but it does have a matte finish. And for those of you who don't know, like, matte finish has like the less reflective kind of material. Like, if you were to compare it to like this in the light, which it being, of course, on plastic and everything, but this isn't as reflective as this. But the thing about these matte finishes, they're very prone to scratches. So if you get this scratched or you throw it in a bin, you drop it wrong, you will probably notice blemishes on the side, which is quite unfortunate because I've stated this very openly with no shame. I like to mess around with my toys. I like to take them places, take pictures of them, because I always have to have some kind of toy with me to fidget with, even to like work, college. But this is one of those things that I'm probably not going to be able to unless I buy a second one, which, I don't know, I would love to get multiple of these, and I'll get more into that a little bit. But, you know, it's just a shame that little stuff like that, like, come on. You could have found a compromise to make this printed. But the line detailing, though, however, is printed on there, so at least, you know, we have that. And we have painted buffers, which, again, can't say that about a lot of other Thomas toy lines, so it's nice to see that it's here. Bringing in the other Thomases I have, it is quite literally your stock standard Tomy Thomas with a fresh coat of paint and an awesome face. From the molding, the line detailing, everything is all the same on this. One thing that I am noticing, though, is that the lamp irons on the front aren't painted, along with these little flanges down here. And I mean, if you compare it to the artwork, I mean, they're not really as vibrant on there, but it is just kind of like, I don't know, I think that would have helped it pop a little bit more. I don't know, like I guess you could argue, like, you know, there are probably going to be some people that would have liked to have seen it, some people that said, nah, it's totally fine, but, you know, I digress. Now, one thing that I don't necessarily like is retaining to the face. It's kind of hard to see here on camera, but it does have these weird little white lines on it, which, again, it's meant to capture that face on the original artwork. But one of them, it's the one that's up on the forehead. Again, it is on the artwork, but I don't think it's blended quite nicely. I might honestly go through with some, you know, maybe some isopropyl alcohol or some nail polish remover and remove this little white one that's up here. I don't know. I got to be kind of careful with that because I know that acetone in plastic don't really mix too well. The printing will come off, but you also might damage the face, and let's be real, the face is what makes this entire thing special. And that's really another thing I want to talk about, is that it is kind of unfortunate that this item, thus far, you can really only import it from Japan. I would love to have seen this come to the States because I would like to pick up several of these because of this face alone to slap them on other Thomases. Now, the one thing I'm kind of hoping that, I guarantee someone's going to do it, they're going to take this face and make a nice 3D scan of it or even make molds of it and replicate this face to sell them on Etsy or eBay or something like that. I really do hope someone comes along and does that because I would love, again, I'd love to see this face on like a die-cast Thomas. Or, again, I think that the Thomas that I wanted to see this on the most was the Tomy Thomas because, I mean, they did do the anniversary, you know, LBSC Thomas, so don't really understand why they didn't do, you know, this one. Like, come on, like, they could have easily taken the sculpt from this, done a little bit of retooling, resizing, slap it on this, and we all would have bought it, let's be honest. But that's the one thing about this Thomas, I'm like, I'm so happy this is real, but man, it has me wanting more, and I really doubt we're going to see more. You know, I think that's kind of the unfortunate thing, is like, this is probably going to be that one-off item. But, you know, things could change maybe for another anniversary, or even maybe they see the success of this and just like, screw it, let's just make all of the characters. I mean, that's wishful thinking, but it would be nice to see. All right, now moving on to Annie and Clarabelle here. They are, you know, essentially just Annie and Clarabelle repainted. Like, they are just stock standard coaches, but I don't think that's a bad thing. They don't have printing on the sides because they don't have their names printed on the sides in the Railway series. I do believe that they were different types of coaches, though. I believe they were bogeyed coaches in the Railway series. I know that they really couldn't capture that here, especially to keep the cost down, even though I know they have bogeyed rolling stock. I did, back in my Jurassic World Tomy set review, you know, one of those cars did have a set of bogeys on it. Would have been kind of cool to see something like that, but again, you know, I think it's totally fine, totally fair to just do something like this, because, I mean, hey, they did the same thing with the Express coaches, which were supposed to be, you know, have sets of bogeys and everything. The faces look quite nice. They are different, so that is really nice. They are both smiling here. There's not really too much different about them outside of like eyebrow placement and then where they're looking at. But I still think it's still quite nice. On the side detailing, there is this little gray line down here. Now, I don't have, any Annie and Clarabelles to compare them to. My Tomy Annie and Clarabelles are long since gone. I have not had Annie and Clarabelle since I was like, I don't know, 6 or 7. But, these are very nice. They have a very vibrant orange that really captures the look of the Railway Series Annie and Clarabelle. So, again, I think these are totally fine. They pair quite nicely. I know there have been some people that were kind of complaining that why is he coming with Annie and Clarabelle and not the set of goods wagons that are behind him in the original illustration. But then again, I ask you this, do you really care? Like, let's be, again, you're here for the Thomas. You don't really, I think having the Annie and Clarabelle are a bit better because this right here to me, and to many other people, this is just a complete package. Having Thomas with Annie and Clarabelle, it just like, yeah, that makes sense. But just throwing in a generic wagon and, van, like, come on now. There's plenty of Tomy vans and pieces of rolling stock. If you really wanted them to look like the illustration, just go ahead and dig in your bin, pull out your matching colored cars and slap them there. There's nothing of note or interesting about them. But at least with these Annie and Clarabelle, we have interesting face prints and things that tie back into the Railway Series that can't be just easily mistaken for, oh, that's just a generic truck. So I kind of disagree with that to an extent, but I can see where they're coming from. But then again, looking at this, like, come on now. That's just money right there. That's just money. So yeah, we do have Thomas here. We have the LBSC Thomas. We have the Steelworks Thomas, the Tomica Thomas. Put him up front. Screw it. We'll even compare him to one of my favorite Tomy engines, Mighty Mac. Because, why not? I fucking like Mighty Mac. It's my review. I'll do it, damn it. You think that's weird? I'll put another one of my favorite, Trackmaster Tomy items. There's Hector for you. It is literally, if you've seen a Tomy Thomas, you know how big this thing is. And just to make my review a little bit more different, there is the Missing Link Cliff Jumper. Say what you want, but that's an official Tomy product right there. Alright, so I think we should get all of these, oddballs out of the way, and let's give this guy a proper run-in. So what are my final thoughts on this, Thomas? It is everything I wanted out of an anniversary item. Like, going into the 80th anniversary, I was very, very cynical and skeptical because of the current state of the franchise. I've stated it a million times, I do not like All Engines Go, and I think no matter what people try to say, the show is not doing as well as people try to hype it up to be. And for that reason, I was super, super bitter and miserable about this anniversary. I'm like, oh, well, what's the point in celebrating if there's nothing to celebrate? But all of the merchandise that's been announced this year, and especially this item right here, just gives me that little glimmer of hope. Now, do I think that Thomas and Friends is going to miraculously bounce back? Absolutely not. I don't think it's ever going to get to that same heyday popularity it once had. But I'll be damned, This is looking to be a great anniversary, and this is the star attraction right here. Now, I paid around maybe $50 or so when I had pre-ordered this guy, but you can probably find it for a little over 40 now. I would recommend, don't pay anything over like $45 because you got to keep in mind, retail for this thing is probably around like $25. So you might as well tack on, let's just say $15 shipping onto that for import fees. I'd honestly recommend try and pick this guy up as soon as you can. It really is a great item, and even if you're not a native Tomy collector, it is just a solid Thomas and Friends piece that I think every collector should just own. It's that good. I think that singing his praises, it doesn't do it enough justice here. It is such a good model, and I'm just so happy that it exists. And you guys know me, I'm not the biggest Tomy fan out there, but even this thing still brought the biggest shit-eating smile to my face. So that's all I gotta say for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Happy 80th anniversary, Thomas, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.
Spins ass! Spins ass! Yes! Spins yes!